everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is Other Conservative Coin Collector. That's a little better. I can see my face a lot better and it's a lot dimmer. Today is my first video in a while that is long form. My laptop charger was on the fritz and I had to grab a new one. Laptop is currently working and fully charged now, but it was dead for the last couple of days. And that's when I went live. And there was a lot of overwhelming support, so thank you all who watched my live videos. Hope you're watching this one. And today's video is going to be about coin roll hunting finds, coin collecting finds, and not just the old stuff. Like, I could talk about buffalo nickels all day. I could talk about finding silver coins, what their worth is, and all that good stuff, but that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in talking about the recent stuff, the 2020 and onward stuff that nobody ever pays attention to. Are there any coins from the last couple of years that are worth anything? That's what today's video is going to be about. So make sure to do that liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing. And, well, on to the video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Starting off with everybody's favorite year, 2020. And in 2020, I'm going to cover what normally would be hunted. We would normally hunt cents, nickels, dimes, quarters, and I may even throw in a $50 in there. But in 2020, the shield cent, most of them are worth just their face value. Seeing that 3,560,800,000 were minted altogether, but if they're uncirculated and mint state and professionally graded, they could be between 50 cents and $2. Proof and mint sets, and often from San Francisco, graded 70 PR70 deep cameo can bring 100 to 150 bucks. And there are error coins like the double struck dates or major mint mark errors. Sometimes they can fetch even more, and depends on what it is. That's from 2021. Most likely, if you find one in circulation, they're only going to be worth face value. There are a lot minted in 2021. 3,925,820,000 were minted. But however, you can get some in a good condition. If it's professionally graded and it's nearly flawless, if it's graded MS68 to MS70 by one of the professional grading companies, whether PCGS or NGC, they can be worth anywhere from $20 to $3,000, and that's an auction that can sell for that. There is a spiked head error. Some 2021 sets from Philadelphia meant have a distinct die crack error extending from Lincoln's head, and they can occasionally sell for 10 to 50 bucks. And there's a Liberty error where the BIE looks cracked, and that could be 5 to 15, but most likely it's going to be face value. There's absolutely nothing interesting about the 2022 set, so I'm just gonna skip right over it. They're all face value, nothing at all. Going ahead to 2023, on the other hand, there is an extra V VDB error. It is the most famous error for 2023, located on the obverse near Lincoln's shoulder. The designer's initials, VDB, are followed by a distinct misplaced extra V. Raw examples can fetch between $20 and $50. But if you have a professionally graded specimen that is MS69 or higher, they've sold at auction for over $6,000. There's also a DDO and a DDR that can sell for between 25 and 50 bucks as well. 2024 cents are usually about face value. Like the rest of them, if you just find them in pocket changed. However, flawless uncirculated ones can sell for higher prices. Raw uncirculated cents found in pocket change can sell for about 40 cents, but if PCGS or NGC grade them, they could be worth up to $100. There is a retained cut die break that can make it between $20 and $190. And there's missing VDB initials on a few of them that can make them $35. 2025 being the cutoff date for all of the cents after the Trump administration eradicated them. The 2025 is the last year I have, and it's the historic final year that meant produce circulated cents. Uncirculated rolls and specific high-grade coins carry premiums, while a standard circulated roll is worth 1 cent in face value. Pristine or error cents can sell for hundreds if not thousands of dollars. In fact, I've shown you on the channel I have a graded 2025 shield cent. It's MS64 red. It's about a $50 coin. And if they're MS68 or higher, they can sell from anywhere between $300 and $1,200. Errors and strike-throughs can be over $2,000. Being the historic final year, they carry much more historic value, and they can be much more of a pristine coin with higher money. Higher value, rather. Moving on to the nickels. Most circulated 2020 nickels from Philadelphia and Denver, they're face value. But if they're higher graded coins, MS67, and you can see the full steps, they can be $50 to $100. The coins with errors can be $35 to over $400. And the one that I showed you with the W mint mark, they're West Point nickels. And these proof West Point nickels, being a limited run, can also set you back a couple of bucks as well. Nickels from 21 are most likely going to be face value. But if you have a strike-through error, they can sell from $15 to $150. Rotated die errors can bring in $15 to $35. And pristine uncirculated ones that are professionally graded and graded MS 66 to 68 can sell for between $15 and $75. Like the 22 cent, the 22 nickel, not really all that special. A lot of them are 5 cents. However, near perfect professional grades can fetch up to $55. And rare high-grade examples can reach up to $900. There are also available errors like Spear and Nose, or Smoking Tom, or Die Chips, or Grease Strikes. They can sell for $10, or up to $60, it depends, but $900 for a nickel. That's insane. 2023 nickels? Face value. If you get one with an error, whether it's a die break or a clip planchet or whatever it is, they can sell from between $10 to $100, and depends on what it is. And pristine and graded examples can reach up to $470. Say it's graded, it's a proof, and an error, you're looking at something very valuable. Most 2024 nickels in circulated condition are worth between $2 and $9, making them significantly more valuable than their 5-cent face value. This is primarily because of the historical low mintage numbers out of the Denver and Philadelphia mints. The ungraded and circulated coins can sell on eBay from $2 to $5. Uncirculated coins in mint state condition can command between $50 and $60. And if they're professionally graded, they could be from $150 to $1,500 at auction. Most 2025 circulated nickels found in pocket change are indeed that, just pocket change. However, pristine uncirculated specimens in mint state 65 or higher can be $6 to $15. But nickels struck with errors can be between $200 to $600 is what they can be between. Present year nickels are an interesting specimen because they are dual dated. the second time our coins have been dual dated throughout the history of the country. And at least right now, most of them are exactly 5 cents. But pristine, professionally graded ones, and the ones with the specialized bit errors, like with all the other nickels, can go for between $3 to $75. And TBD on how much they're potentially going to be worth in the next upcoming years. The 2020 dimes from just circulation are worth exactly 1 dime, 10 cents. However, the professionally graded MS65 Plus uncirculated ones can fetch between 15 and 200 bucks. Silver proofs are about $5.50, and die adjustment errors can be between $75 and $140. 2021 dimes are the same story as the 2020 when it comes to regular circulated coins, the 10 cents. But the 2021 S-Proof clad coins can be $5.50 to $25. The S-Proof silvers can be $25 to $45. And the rare certified high grades can reach up to $75. 2022 dime actually has an error called the Julian Frank error. It's a die chip near Roosevelt's lips, making him look like he's drooling. It can be worth about $5 to $10. But the burning or smoky torch error, the left flame on the reverse looks faint or looks like missing due to a black die, it could be worth $30 to $40. And regular planchet and strike errors can be worth $35 to over $100. They're only worth face value, or slightly more if completely uncirculated, just for regular change. There's nothing too fascinating about the 2023 dime. Circulated coins are the typical 10 cents you would think a dime would be worth, and billions were minted. 1.58 billion were minted in Philadelphia, and 1.55 billion were minted in Denver. But uncirculated, pristine, brand new condition ones can be between 40 cents and 20 bucks, and 2023S silver proof coins can be worth $2 to $27, depending on the grade and the packaging. 24 dime is pretty much the same story, all about 10 cents. But if there's minted from high grades and you get it professionally graded, it can sell for $1 to $25. And with the major mint errors and gray strikes, they can reach up to $75. I skipped over the 2025 dime because there's absolutely no value to them other than 10 cents whatsoever. But the 2026 dime is especially interesting because it's the first year that FDR hasn't been on a dime since 1945. It's also the second time in history our coins were dual dated, this one being dated 1776 and 2026 simultaneously. Now, when it comes to this newer particular coin, we have mint state singles that can be professionally graded at MS65 or higher. They can reach a value of up to $1 to $500. And special issues and proofs can be $2 up to $50 each, and depends on what you get. The quarter is an especially interesting coin because multiple of them can be released in 1 year, unlike the 3 other coins I covered. In 2020, 5 national park quarters were released for circulation. You have the National Park in American Samoa, Weir Farm in Connecticut, Salt River Bay in the Virgin Islands, the Marsh Buildings Rockefeller in Vermont, and the Tallgrass Prairie in Kansas. Most of them are going to be face value, but there's a couple of them that could be worth a little more than face value. The W or West Point mint mark, only 2 million of each 2020 design were struck at this mark, making them a little more valuable than just 25 cents. This V75 Privy mark on all 2020 W quarters include a special V75 stamp on the obverse to celebrate the 75th anniversary at the end of World War II. Those can also raise its value. And if you find a typical circulated quarter, if either of those things, they're between $10 to $25. There's a couple errors. One's called the blind bat error. If you take a look on the Samoa quarter, there's a strike through grease or debris error, make it look the bad's face look like it's blank or missing details. That can be between $100 and $290 because if you sell these coins, error coins, they're sold raw and uncertified for that. And higher graded ended versions can sell for much more than $290. There's a missing clad layer on the outer copper nickel layer is exposed, and the inner copper core is exposed. If you get a missing clad layer error coin, it could be from $250 to $2,500. The 2021 quarter is also in the same boat as the 2020. There were multiple released. There were 2 released in 2021. There was one honoring Washington's crossing the Delaware, and one honoring the Tuskegee Airmen who fought 2 wars for us. Most 2021 quarters are just that, quarters, spendable change. But there are a couple of error and variety coins to look out for. Take a look at Washington's crossing the Delaware hat. There's a die chip on the hat to look out for. It's extra raised metal bumps or blobs on top of Washington's hat on the obverse, sometimes stretching into the lettering. It could go from $30 to $200. There's also a double die on his face, and it's minor. It's a little extra metal, and it can go from $10 to $300. And the Tuskegee Airmen coin is not immune to errors. There is a high grades and striking errors. Philadelphia or Denver mint mark pieces graded near perfect, MS67 or 68 with struck through debris errors, earn between $90 and $250. 2022 is a big year for quarters. It is the start of the Women Quarters program, honoring 5 women each year on the reverse of the quarters. The first year, they honored Maya Angelou, honored Dr. Sally Ride, Anime Wan, Tara Warren, and Wilma Mankiller. Most likely a regular one is just going to be 25 cents, but silver proofs on uncirculated grades can bring a little bit of cash. Mint state specimens graded M67 or higher, like the 2022 P Maya Angelou, have fetched up to $2,375 at auction. On the obverse, there's also a die chip that makes it look like George Washington is drilling, and they can fetch a few dollars, up to $50. And current die breaks can be $300 to $400. So it depends on where they are. But $2,375 is insane for a quarter. In 2023, 5 more quarters, 5 more women. The women honored in 2023 are Bessie Coleman, Edith Kanaka-Ole, Eleanor Roosevelt, Hood of Idar, and Maria Tallchief. This is the first year I've covered where they could be worth more than just 25 cents alone. They could be worth from $4 to over $100, and depends on what it is. And it all is based on errors and varieties. There's a collage die on the Edith Kanaka-Ole quarter, and the letters EDITH appear near George Washington's ear on the obverse side. They could be valued from $3 to $100. There's a Bessie Coleman wing chip. It's a raised metal blob error on the airplane's right wing on the Philadelphia mint marks, and that could be valued around $20. There's a Maria Tallchief feather chip. It's a die chip flaw on the dancer's hair feather, valued around $4. And Hood of Idar has die cracks and cuds. There's raised lines or die cracks across the design elements, valued around $5 to $30. And she has such a unique design too. I actually covered that design in a previous video, right around the time it came out. So make sure to watch for that too. In 2023, 5 more quarters, 5 more women. The women honored in 2023 are Bessie Coleman, Edith Kanaka Ole, Eleanor Roosevelt, Hoda Idar, and Maria Tallchief. This is the first year I've covered where they could be worth more than just 25 cents alone. They could be worth from $4 to over $100, and depends on what it is. And it all is based on errors and varieties. There's a collage die on the Edith Kanaka Ole quarter, and the letters EDITH appear near George Washington's ear on the obverse side. They could be valued from $3 to $100. There's a Bessie Coleman wing chip. It's a raised metal blob error on the airplane's right wing on the Philadelphia mint marks, and that could be valued around $20. There's a Maria Tallchief feather chip. It's a die chip flaw on the dancer's hair feather, valued around $4. And Hoda Idar has die cracks and cuds. There's raised lines or die cracks across the design elements, valued around $5 to $30. And she has such a unique design too. I actually covered that design in a previous video, right around the time it came out. So make sure to watch for that too. The 2025 quarters have 5 new women per usual. Althea Gibson, Ida B. Wells, Stacey Park Milburn, Dr. Vera Rubin, and Julia Gordon Lowe are the ones that are honored on the 2025 quarter. I find the Stacey Park Milburn one just as interesting because to be on a coin you have to be dead for at least 5 years, and seeing that she had passed in 2020, she had been dead just 5 years, so then they could honor her, which I find pretty interesting. However, when it comes to the value of the coins, there really isn't anything interesting. Most standard ones are worth 25 cents. There is really nothing of value when it comes to 2025 quarters. The 2026 quarter also has multiple designs being released this year. There's one celebrating the Mayflower, and there is another one with George Washington and the Liberty Bell. And what's interesting about the 2025 quarters is that there is nothing unique or new or interesting about them aside from the new designs, which the coins having a new design is interesting in itself. But the particular one I'm showing you is one that the Mint decided to release and say good luck to us coin collectors. Not only is it dual dated, but recently the Mint released these July 4th privy marks next to Washington and Jefferson on the obverse, and it lacks a P or D mint mark, and only 250,000 were released into circulation when it comes to this mint mark. Active sales are ranging from $1,500 to $2,500, which is absolutely bonkers insane for a brand new quarter. Of course, the Mint getting in on it doesn't surprise me. How valuable they are now. When it comes to the half dollars from 2020 to 2025, there's really nothing interesting or special about them. They're all worth 50 cents. If they're professionally graded at a very high grade, they can be worth a few bucks. In a couple years have some errors and varieties that could be worth a few bucks. But there's no $1 million half dollar, so to speak, from 2020 to 2025. However, the 2026 half dollar is where it gets interesting. The 2026 half dollar is dual dated, like all the other coins, and it's the first time that JFK is not going to be on the half dollar since 1964. In 1963, Benjamin Franklin was being honored on the half dollar, but due to a series of unfortunate events, JFK was put on the 1964 half dollar to honor him. And he's going to be back on the half dollar in 2027, but with an updated portrait. So he's going to be back on the half dollar, just not this year. And if you get a circulated or a raw coin, so to speak, they can be face value, but they can be $2. It depends on how nice the condition is. And if you get uncirculated or mint rolls, they could go from $40 to $60. And if you get a certified professional graded mint state coin of MS64 to 67, they could be $45 to $70. And depends on who graded it, such as NGC or PCGS, that can also determine the coin's value as well. When it comes to dollar coins, they are no longer minted for general circulation, so it's not worth covering the dollar coins from 2020 to present. Now, you'll see an occasional dollar coin because you get it in change at a car wash or in a vending machine, but a lot of those circulating dollar coins are from 2011 and prior. So from 2020 to now, you're not going to find them in circulation. They are sold directly to collectors rather than distributed to the Federal Reserve for everyday pocket change. And you're either most likely going to find a dollar coin that was minted pre-2011, or a big place you'll find a dollar coin is in your proof sets. Those are the two big places that you're going to find dollar coins. Henceforth, it's not really necessary to cover them because you're never going to find them in circulation past 2011.